I grew up in a Christian household, always hearing about the grace of God. The first time I saw God's grace was when one night at youth, the leaders were sharing their testimonies. I realized then that I was not the only person that struggled with peer pressure, identity crisis, and sin. For years, I thought that I was the only one who struggled with them, and I was too afraid to confess these struggles to anyone. That night, I understood that I wasn't alone, and that God didn't want me to be. I saw His love for me even though I was a hypocrite, a sinner, unworthy of His love. This great God that created the world out of nothing and brought life to it took on flesh and came down to dwell among us. He died for those unworthy of His abundant love, and He rose from the dead, defeating sin and death forever. All I had to do was believe that Jesus, who is God Himself, saved me from my sins and follow Him for the rest of my life. And I did. In the years following that night, I went through different kinds of trials and tribulations. I sinned and I doubted God several times. Yet God's grace led me out of that sadness and despair. He provided me with a church that prayed for me and people who encouraged me. He gave me the strength to open up to others, to share my struggles and allow them to lead me to His Word. As we are transitioning to a new place and new seasons in life, I have been struggling to focus more on God and not on the blessings He has given me. I was reading the book of Jonah recently when I observed that Jonah made a lot of small decisions that led him away from God. And God spoke to me through this, cautioning me to not take those seemingly small decisions, such as not reading the Bible for even just one day, because that will lead me spiraling down to the depths and away from Him. That is God's grace coming to me.